And hello, America. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Ray Amanat Show. I'm sure you guys know what this is by now, but welcome. I'd love to give some shout outs real quick because we've got a lot of stuff that I want to cover today. So let's start with thanking the OBBM network for hosting us on their network TV show at obbmnetwork.tv. So if you go to their website, you can download it and search for the Ray Amanat Show and watch it on Roku, iHeartRadio, and all the other platforms that they have. Just go to the obbmnetwork.tv. Now, today we're going to talk about a little something different. We could talk about how come Israel and Iran is no longer in the news after the United States dropped a bunch of bombs on them and Israel dropped some bombs on them. And now we don't hear anything. Is there a peace treaty? Is there not? What's going on with that? We could talk about Ukraine and Russia. Is there a peace treaty there, or is Putin still dropping bombs on Ukraine? Is Putin going to come to the table and negotiate with Trump or not? Again, that's a wait and see. We could talk about the Epstein files, of which Joe Biden and his administration had 4 years to get that out to the public, but they did nothing. And in my opinion, the FBI and the DOJ at that time, did they doctor up the Epstein files to incriminate or implicate Donald Trump as another gotcha moment or another hoax? That's a wait and see, and and this is my opinion, but that could be a reason why they haven't released anything on the Epstein files. Let's look at everything line by line and look at who handled those files and make sure it wasn't doctored by anyone, so that when you get the information, it's 100% accurate and not a load of BS. But I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff today because I have something happy to talk about or to share with you. But before we do that, let's talk about our sponsor at this time. So, PBP Web Design with my good friend James Durkin. There's his contact information. You can go to pbpwebdesign.com. You can email James at jamesdurkin at pbpwebdesign.com. His phone number is 727-457-5894. If you have a business and you want a footprint out in the www.com land, give James a call and he will do a consultation that's free. And if you like what he brings to the table, just set it up and have him set up a website for you, and you guys can take it from there. All right. So today, like I said, it's going to be more of a feel good moment type day. It's going to be an interview with my good friend, Angel Schmidt with Dana's Angels. So I'm not going to say any more. I'm just going to introduce you to Angel herself. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Ray Amanat Show. Normally, we talk about a whole bunch of things that are happening in the news, and today I'm going to be interviewing a good friend of mine for a feel-good moment, because I want you guys to not always hear gloom and doom. I want you to hear things from people that are making a difference in our communities. So with me today is Miss Angel Schmidt that has a nonprofit called Dana's Angels. But before we dive into Dana's Angels and what that is, can you tell everybody a little bit about your background, about yourself, and then how you got started with putting together Dana's Angels?
Yes. My name is Angel. I have a nonprofit. I have 6 children, and I am a military mom. And I have kids serving in the Navy. I had kids serving in the Army. I live with a veteran of 20 years, and I've been together with him for, I don't know, close to 30, I guess. Um, Dana's Angels was started uh, 13 years ago, probably. One of my closest friends had breast cancer, and her name was Dana. And we raised lots of money for breast cancer survivors.
Sure.
And as we kept raising money for breast cancer, Dana got worse. So we start making a list of things that she wanted to help. And it was all organizations that we were involved in. I have a grandson that was born prematurely. He was also born with a blood disorder, and he had to have a trans, a
Blood transplant
bone marrow transplant. I get choked up when I talk about
those are rough.
Those are rough. That's a hard thing to go through when he was 2 years old.
Wow.
He's now 16 and very healthy, but we added that to the list of things we were going to help. Dana's Angels was actually a walking group for marathons and things like that.
Right.
Dana picked the name, combining both of our names. And my daughter, one of my daughters, I should say, designed our logo with Dana.
And you'll be seeing those logos and everything else later on at the end of the interview. So
Dana passed away after a year, and she left behind 3 small boys. But she also left me with a very long list of things she wanted me to help with.
So Dana's Angels isn't just a charity to feed the homeless. It's multiple.
Yes.
So let's dive into that. This I didn't know. I always thought you just had a food pantry and you were just out there helping the homeless and things like that. But I didn't know it was raising money to help other nonprofits or help other charities with raising awareness or helping families that are in need of that.
Right.
So dive into
that. Well, we did a bone marrow walk, and we raised an enormous amount of money. My grandson will never find out who his donor is, but we did walk together when he actually even walked with us,
right?
Which was kind of fun. He got to run over the finish line. My daughter was he was premature, so we decided to do some knitting or crocheting. There was an organization that crocheted red hats for premature babies.
Right.
So we did that. I had a whole mess of women get together and raise money for yarn, and then they crocheted all these little hats for the premature babies that when they left the hospital, they had these little red hats on.
Right.
My daughter went into cardiac arrest, so we did work with the American Heart Association, and we raised money for that. And the list just kept going on. And by the time Dana left, she said, "Please, just do me I'm sorry, I get choked up when I talk about Dana."
Right.
Before she passed, she said, "Please don't let me pass in vain, and just keep going with what we started."
Well, we all want legacies.
Yep.
To leave behind a legacy. Yes. And this is her legacy. It's also your legacy. So it's something that you started together,
and we kept going.
And you're keeping it going.
Dana's mom lives in Arizona, and we're very close. One of Dana's boyfriends lived here at the time in Florida. I've only met Dana once. You look shocked. I'm sorry. I met her once for about an hour, and we kept contact. She lived in Arizona. We kept contact through email, through telephone, text messages, and everything else. We just happened to click, and that click has remained with me and changed
So
my
it's
whole
it's
life.
it's kind of like a long distance pen pal, only with technology. That you
Yes,
guys kept the friendship and kept the passion for helping people alive.
yes. So we keep going. Dana's mom does stuff in Arizona. My best friend is up in New Jersey. She does stuff up in New Jersey. My community down here in Florida, they've been helping me with Dana's Angels for 13 years.
So that was going to be one of the questions I'm going to ask. Within the community here in Florida, is it all of Florida? Is it Pasco County? Is it
It's
Pinellas? Is it Hernando? What areas do you guys serve here in Florida?
here in Florida, we pretty much stick within Pasco County.
Okay.
That is our main goal is to help the homeless population, try to get them back on their feet. Um, we we run food drives in my community where I live. I live in Timber Oaks, and I started out doing shoe boxes for Samaritan's Purse.
Right.
And I started out with one of my friends gave me a box and said, "Could you fill this for me?" And the boxes go to Good Samaritan and um, Operation Christmas Child. And every year I doubled the amount of boxes till one year I had 300 shoe boxes in my living room piled up to the ceiling. My husband had a spot on my dining room table that was big enough for a laptop and his dinner plate. You couldn't see my china closet. I had racks of shoe boxes everywhere. And I just asked the people that I knew, anybody, if they could donate something to the shoe boxes. So
Right.
crayons, coloring books, and then they shipped them out all over the world to children in need or children that were in, and it came along with a Christian uh, booklet.
Right.
So that happened. As that happened, I started getting to know the homeless population by seeing them on 19, and my heart just kind of stopped. One of my children, when I moved to Florida, didn't want to move to Florida with me. So she stayed up in New Jersey in her car, kind of couch shopping.
Right.
Um, Couch hopping, I think they call it down here. Up
Surfing.
there, surfing. Up in, we call it shopping. And she just kind of parked in people's driveways of her friends. And if the parents let her in, that's where she stayed. She was
Right.
going to college at the time, so she didn't want to move colleges. So when I came down here and I was kind of like looking around for something to do, I said, okay, we'll do all this other stuff and then we'll do this. I got involved with the homeless community and start just feeding people out of my car. Cans of soup, bottle of water, sandwiches that I bought at the grocery store, things like that.
So, are there regulations as a nonprofit for you to be able to distribute food?
Yes.
The do's and don'ts.
There's do's and there's don'ts. Um, you're not supposed to feed people on the side of the road. It's not allowed. So you kind of, I go into the entrances to camps. I don't put myself in danger or the other ladies that work with me.
Right.
We also hand out tents if they're in need of tents. Uh, Other supplies like toiletries.
So that's a good point because you're part of USBH, which is a networking group that I run. Little plug there. You should be there.
Yes, yes, they should. It's a wonderful group.
But when you do your business briefs or your pitch, you say, I need bags, like grocery bags, or I need canned goods, or I need toiletries. What are some of the things, toilet paper or soap or toothbrush? What are things that, deodorant?
Basically, it's almost everything. We collect clothes, we collect food, we collect tents, blankets, um,
Coats.
coats in the wintertime.
Right.
I have 2 storage units, which cost me a bloody fortune, but I keep them because I keep lots of supplies in the storage units, and I keep supplies at my
So
house.
with that, because it costs you money,
Out of my
then you
Yes,
also need money
yes.
to pay for those storage units to be able to store all these things that you're giving away for free.
Right.
So we've got different ways that, and I will be posting this post the interview on when I edit the show. But people can learn more about your nonprofit if you go to her website, which is www.site, that's SITE dot Dana's Angels number 11. I guess the number 11 is kind of like the wings of an angel, maybe. Um, at yahoo.com. And you guys will see a slide on that after the interview is done here. You can also reach Dana at 727 602 9762. If you want to help in any way, if you want to make a donation, she'll be happy to talk to you about how to and where to donate the money and what it's used for. So, it's not one of those nonprofits that, is going to take the money and go buy a mansion or anything
No,
like
we
that.
don't. We don't. Everything we spend, every single cent goes towards Dana's.
So
None of the ladies.
100%
Yep.
of the donations go towards
Operating.
operating expenses and everything else. Nobody makes an income.
No, nobody. The ladies that help me, we put the gas in our own vehicles. The storage unit, I pay for one. My partner pays for the other. Um, when nobody takes any money, I shop locally. I'll put in a plug for the store that I shop at most of the time, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I shop at Hudson's Discount Market. The gentleman there has been wonderful with helping me out. Um, it's just where I find things that are the cheapest and least expensive, the most make my dollar stretch.
Right.
We don't have a grant writer, so we don't have any income.
Right.
It's just private donations. And what we have in the bank, I've had in the bank for basically a year, because that's when we went nonprofit.
So how do you cover all your personal expenses and everything else? I mean, I guess you're retired or
My Social Security,
right.
which is very tiny, because I was a politician, and being a politician, where I come from, you only got paid for your meetings, so it was $35 every time you had a meeting, and we had 2 a month. So
Woo.
I didn't make a lot of money being a
So
politician.
you didn't go down the Nancy Pelosi route where she's a
No,
multi-millionaire because of
absolutely not.
insider trading or whatever it is that
No,
she did to make that money.
nope.
You're
I
not
did
one of
not.
those
I am not one
politicians.
of those politicians. I actually became a politician because where I lived in Pennsylvania, I moved onto a mountain. I built a house on a mountain, and there was nothing up there. And I had children, and there was no sports, so I started a sport league. There was no scouts, so I became a scout leader for girls. But I had sons, so I was became a Boy Scout leader.
Right.
Actually, I was the first female uh, politician in my county, in my township.
Right.
I was the first. I went to Boy Scout camp, and as my children grew, so did I, till I became a scoutmaster. And I went to camp with the boys, but I had to stay separate than them.
Right.
Um, and that's how I ended up in politics. There's like 5,000 people in my township, and everybody kind of knew me, that I meant change. I needed to do something to make the community better. And where we were in the mountains, there was private communities, but there was nothing for children to do.
Right.
So my whole world revolved around my children up until I got divorced from my first husband. And then I just had all these little projects that I was always doing. And then we had mountain people, I guess you want to call them that. I don't know. And they needed some help. So I started having a food bank within our township building. And that's what got me started doing charity work. Then I became a first responder and became an EMT,
Right.
and then worked on an ambulance for years. So I got to see a lot of my township from a different side. And running an ambulance was more of helping people. And then I became the president of the PTA and did all kinds of other strange things like that. I like to be busy.
Angel, you are the epitome where I tell people, if you're not happy with what's going on in your community, stop sitting on your ass, get up and go do something about it. You got involved in so many different ways that people are just, they can just sit there and complain and yell at the TV or yell at their computer screen or their phone looking at it. If anyone can sit and complain. If you want to see true change and an improvement in your schools, in your communities, within the people of all walks of life,
That's right.
in your communities, do something about it.
You have to be involved.
You've got living proof right here with everything that Angel has done, that has genuinely, truly made it. I see her making a difference here in Florida. So thank you for everything that you do.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming here for the interview. I hope people get inspired by you and your charities, and I hope they support them. We're doing something next week with our business networking group, USBH, where everyone has to wear a crazy island shirt or something. And in doing so, Jim Rumley, which is one of our networking friends, is going to donate money to your charity. And then we're going to try to get people to match his donation so that we can take that a little bit further than the measly donation he said he's going to give you. No.
Poor Jim.
But again, thank you for everything
You're
that you're
welcome.
doing. Thank you for coming here, and we'll see you guys on the Ray Amanat Show next episode.
Thank you.
And I'm back. As always, just gotta handle all of the technical stuff on top because producer Debbie is out and about. She's doing her thing right now. But I hope you enjoyed the interview with Angel Schmidt and her wonderful nonprofit that's dedicated to helping feed the homeless here in Pasco and other things. If you would like to reach out to me, you can go to info@therayamanat.show.com. Ask me questions. If you want to be on the show, you can reach out and say, how do I get on your show? And we'll set up a time and go through that. If you want to give us some comments that we can mention, well, whether it's things that you like, things you don't like, hate mail, I don't care. Send it to us. We would love it. So it's info@therayamanat.show.com. If you'd like to learn more about myself, you can go to my website at rayamanat.com, which is made by PBP Web Design with James Durkin. Check out the website and look at all the seminars and all the other things that we have to offer, or I have to offer, along with my team, David Burke, Debbie Schofield, as far as teaching, seminars, one-on-one coaching, or photography and things like that, marketing for your business. So check out rayamanat.com. That, my friends, is all the time we have. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next show.
Welcome to the Ray Amanat Show with the talk of America.